Morning YouTube, it's Morgan, aka the Mountaineer. This morning I'm out, just got to the parking lot. I'm going to be doing the White Hollow Trail, so I'm across the road here. I'm actually going to take the road up and cross over and come back down this way. So if you can see that little sign across the road, there's the trailhead. And then back this way is where I came down and finished back in the woods here. Was it Polly and Wildcat Ridge Trail. It's been a couple months ago, but it's about 70 or so, and it sounds like it's just about to start raining. I brought a poncho, and just for speed and convenience sake, I brought some bungee cords just in case I need to put the poncho up if it's raining, whenever I make my pipe and coffee stop. Anyway, let's hit the trail. Well guys, instead of just taking the road, I saw that there's this little nature trail, and earlier on my way in between the two ends of the trailheads, I actually stopped at the parking lot for this thing just to double check where the trailheads were. Half mile on the nature trail and on the road, ready to hit this connecting trail, Davis Creek, going up to the White Hollow Trail. All right, here we go, White Hollow Trail, which orange diamond, blue square. This might be interesting. I made it to the top, so I just came from down there. There's the end of that outcropping I just showed. Looks like there's some sort of forest road here, but my app says 1.2 miles traveled in about 44 minutes, including just stopping for a minute or two to catch my breath before I tried to talk. So it's a little over halfway based on that rough graph of elevations in that in the app. It looks like in 1.2 miles went up about 600 feet, and I feel it. Anyway, I'm going to keep on going, look for a good spot to stop. Got up out of that hollow, and it's amazing how much brighter it is. Alright, just came from up there on this road about 0.3 miles down to this point. The trail goes back off into the woods this way. I don't know if this is a forest road or like a utilities road to access those power lines we saw back there, or what, but I figure this is a good spot to stop and have coffee. It's getting windy. I'm hoping it's not about to start to rain, but right over there, right when I was getting here, I jumped a deer, so I took a little clip of him. I think I saw an antler, but kind of hard to tell. But anyway, I'll put in a little bit of that clip, and I'm gonna try to find a nice flat spot along this road with a stable spot to put my chair and my stove. Well guys, I've got my water on, my chair out and everything, and I thought I've been meaning to show you all this for quite a while. So this is my pipe setup. Hopefully I'm well in frame, but so what this is, this bag, it's a Z-Packs stake bag. It's to hold your tent stakes. Z-Packs is an ultralight backpacking company, but it's about the perfect size. It's tapered, so you can see, tapered for the heads of the stakes. Perfect size for my pipe, and it holds just in it. I put a bunch of pipe cleaners, and another thing I've found is kind of cool. I take a coffee filter, and I'll put, especially if I'm trying to dry any tobacco out, I'll put it on, wherever, on the table, counter, whatever. Put my tobacco in there and let it dry out, and then you can fold it and have it work as a funnel to get the tobacco in the bowl. And then for trips like this where I pre-pack a bowl, it does a pretty good job of plugging that and keeping the tobacco in. And then whenever I'm done smoking it, I'll just run a pipe cleaner in it and leave it in there, and then put this back in there to keep any leftover bits of ash or dottle or tobacco or whatever from getting into the bag. I'll put it in there, and then when I get home I clean my pipe. Today I'm trying for the first time some McBaron's HH Old Dark Fired. I know it's a favorite of a lot of people. I think I mentioned this last week, but cut that part out of the video for brevity's sake. But I brought my little sit pad here. I don't know if you can see it, but it's just a little blue pad. Folds up into 4 sections. And that's basically to keep all my crap straight and in one spot and visible and clean. I was starting to set up back there. You can see probably see the trail sign back there. And I put my trekking poles up against it and started, I pulled my chair out, and maybe this bag with the AeroPress and stuff, but wind blew a little bit and I heard thunk, thunk, thunk. I heard stuff crashing through the branches. And I was like, what on earth? And I looked, and right there, a couple feet from me, I had bright green hickory nuts falling onto the ground. And I looked up and could see hickory branches overhead. I thought, oh, I think I might not want to stop right here. Kind of get back a little bit. So I came up this way and set up. I think it's just basically oak, some under here. But yeah, I didn't feel like getting my head smacked by a hard little bright green hickory nut right now. I finally remembered to get out a spoon. This is a titanium spoon. It's not the one I use backpacking. I bought it with that intent, but I ended up getting a lighter one. Shorter, lighter, and I don't know, that angle's just a little bit weird. So this is actually Sunday morning. I'm not just delayed in getting a video out. Yesterday I got up and we were planning on going to the movies yesterday afternoon. and so I kind of had the window there to go hiking. Got up and had coffee and hung out with the kids, and I wear basically the same clothes, backpacking, to hiking every week. These West Virginia shorts and I don't know if you've ever noticed it, but my International Running Society shirt here, and the same pair of socks generally. But went down to get them out of the dryer, washed them Friday night, put them in the dryer. They were still soaked. I twisted the dial. Oh man, that is getting everywhere. Anyhow, twisted the dial. You can see how that works. And pulled the lint trap. Got the lint out of it, and was wiping dust and stuff off some accumulated dust off the top of the dryer. And I guess there was some detergent on there, and so I wiped my hand. Was wiping my hand and just got distracted, and I never pushed the button to turn it on. So, and of course I don't know about all dryers, but with mine, you twist the dial and it immediately starts the countdown, whether it's running or not. So it'll always say stopped, and I had to think yesterday about it. I was like, shoot, did I turn it on? And I remembered the series of events, but I was worried that maybe my element had burnt out on our last dryer that had happened, which luckily it's not at least on the previous dryer, it wasn't a very difficult repair, and it wasn't a very expensive repair. But I wasn't able to go out yesterday. But we made it to the movies. That was pretty fun, and that same little theater, $4 theater, went and saw Trolls World Tour, which was pretty good. Right at the climax, right at the big peak of action, it shut off. The projector, I guess, shut off. And for a second there, you just thought, okay, well, that's part of the movie. And then after a couple seconds, you think, nope, it's off. And so it took about 5 or 10 minutes for them to get the projector going again and rewind the movie and all that stuff. So that was fun. But nice to see things finally starting to open up a bit more. Let's put in a little bit more water. This is the last week or the week before last, I don't know. I mentioned it was, I think it was last week, that Seattle's best number 4. This is number 5, which is, they're both very good. But that one it's one of those where you open the bag and it smells kind of like fish or skunk or something, and a lot of people are turned off by that. But when I smell that, I know it's going to be a flavor profile I enjoy. So far, so good on this tobacco. I'm really liking it. Friday morning, I did something that I haven't done in a long time. I had to get my courage up to do it. I stepped on the scale. And before all this COVID stuff started, I was planning on getting back on my diet, I think the beginning of April. Yeah, April 1st. And this all started and life got kind of crazy. Of course, we were stuck in the house, and everybody was there by the time that April 1st rolled around, so we couldn't. It was just a whole lot easier to have everybody eating the same thing, and ended up eating a lot of junk food and a whole lot of inactivity. But so I haven't started. And last year I started May 1st and basically went through almost the end of September. And I had toward the end, I had little periods where I was, off for a bit, and a lot of cheat days or cheat weekends. And I'm trying to think. I think that last weekend in September, I was still. I don't think I had carbs, and went on that backpacking trip, North Fork Mountain, for the first time. But then, when we got off the trail, got in the car, and were going down to get my cousin's, to get lunch and then get my cousin's truck, we stopped there at the shops there by Seneca Rocks, and I got Gatorades and a Red Bull and stuff. And then we went and I ate, I think it might have been a prime rib sandwich, French dip, something like that, with delicious French fries at a restaurant called Asbury's there at Seneca Caverns. And that was the beginning of the end of the diet. And I was nervous, stepping back on the scale for the first time in many months. I always weigh myself first thing in the morning, just to be consistent. And I thought, man, I've topped 260, I bet. I'm probably 265, 270. And I wasn't quite at 260. I was pretty happy. I was 0.2 pounds less than when I started the diet last time. So obviously I've gained almost all that weight back, which is kind of disappointing, but try not to yo-yo. But I'm getting to the age where, I've been overweight for a while, very overweight, but it's really starting to set in. It's getting a little darker. I hope it's not going to start raining. Last night about 10 before I went to bed, I looked at the weather, and it said it was supposed to be, I think it's 6, 7, 8 o'clock. Just on my phone app, it said an 80% chance of rain. And so I just figured I'd need my poncho. But I think I might hear rain. I don't know. But anyhow, I walked out this morning. First, I jumped a deer right in the yard next to us. Didn't pay attention. And heard it go do its, their runaway sound. And I think there was another one behind the house next to ours that I couldn't see, but I could hear it, I think. But anyway, it was dry outside, and I thought, It wasn't exactly sunny, but it was relatively bright. So I sat down, and before I started the car, I looked, and I think it said maybe 7 or 8 o'clock it was supposed to have a 30% chance, and it increased from there. But so I thought that's fortunate. It'll probably be about the time I hit the trail or stop to have my pipe and coffee. It'll start raining. Friday, I spent a bit of time in the basement. I'm sure you guys noticed I haven't had much, or haven't really had any videos down there recently. It was just such a wreck. I think the last one was the, I don't know, that'll have to do. The last one was the massive box opening with all that whole leaf tobacco. And it's just been a wreck. I have all kind of stuff down there, boxes and, excuse me. bottles of liquor taking up a lot of the floor space, and random other stuff. Had that easel set up and canvases and all that stuff I wasn't using, so went down and I built this easel. I don't know if I've really shown it in other videos or if you can see, but it's basically 2 vertical boards and then boards that go back, and I use a pound of Quickcrete or a bag of Quickcrete to stabilize it, and then I mean it is jerry rigged to the max. I use a ratchet strap to tighten up to put some tension on the back to keep it from wobbling, and then between the 2 boards I have like a lag bolt or something, whatever the bolts are, with the square end right by the head, so you have the threads, a square end, and then the rounded head. And basically the 2 boards are spaced so that it engages that square head, and then I just have a washer and wing nuts and then another board to hold that on. I don't know if I described that very well, but it's collapsible. I figured out it was collapsible. I could just slide the one board down and then turn it vertically, and then turn the other board vertically and slide it down. So the profile, it's about, I don't know, maybe 2 feet deep. That's only about 6 or 8 inches wide, and then around 6 feet tall. So it'll fit in tight places. But put it over by a shelf, a wooden shelf we have built in down there. Organize some other stuff, move stuff around, collapse some boxes and stuff to take out and throw away. And I bought a five shelf wire shelf. It's like 14 by 36 inch shelves on it. It's supposed to hold up about 350 pounds per shelf. So I built that, or put that together. I got a gun cabinet for Christmas. Well, my in-laws gave me money, and none of the stores, the Rural Kings, had them in stock, the model that I had asked for, and I think that may have been discontinued. A stack on, I think it was like a 14 gun cabinet, which those numbers are all lies. They say 14 guns, and it's like, it sure won't fit 14 rifles. You might be able to fit 6 or 8 rifles and a bunch of pistols to get up to their supposed number. But oh, nice. Got the goop from the Esbit tab on my hands. But anyway, I had ordered it, and it was sitting at one end of the garage, and I'd never gotten it back there, but I finally lugged it over there and got it set up. I have a mini fridge in there, and I put it where the mini fridge had been, and their profiles were just about the same, their footprint, and so I was able to put that sorry, I'm trying to talk and get packed up at the same time in case I have to run for cover if it starts pouring. But anyway, the footprints were the same, so I was able to put the gun cabinet there and then put this little mini fridge on top of the gun cabinet. I kind of tested it, made sure it was all sturdy and stable, and I think those gun cabinets are built so that you can get smaller gun cabinets or things like that and put on them, so I don't think the weight is an issue. But so I rearranged all that, and I ordered, I didn't order them initially, but then I realized that I should have paid attention to the reviews and heeded their advice. Some of the guys that had bought this shelving unit for liquor, but I ordered some shelf liners to put on there to make them a little bit more stable. But after I get those in, I'll be able to stack up liquor and put in those, put a lot of those soda crates on there that I'm using for half pint tobacco jars. That idea, did a little video on that before. Idea courtesy of Mutton Chop Piper. But so I'm making a little bit of headway in there. Still a lot to do. I'm still debating. I have the materials ready that I can build a workbench and put in there, but I don't know if there's really enough room. Oh, I'm feeling it. It is raining now. Well, seem to be just that little bit for now. I don't know. Of course, the sky is just a uniform light gray. I can't make out any clouds or anything. I mean, it sounds like it might be raining over that way, but it could just be wind. But the wind could be picking up before the rain. We've had I don't know what, probably a possum or raccoon problem getting in our trash bags, getting our trash cans, knocking them over and then opening them or something. And go out and see the bags looking like Swiss cheese with crap all over. And I have bungee cords, but I'm not sure where all they are. I haven't really had a whole lot of use for them since I traded in my truck. So I just dropped into Lowe's yesterday and got a little extension cord to run to that mini fridge since it's in a different position. And got the bungee cords I'm gonna string across. Have a metal trash can which has a handle on top, so gonna string it across there through the handle. Try to make it a little bit more difficult for whatever, if they're just pushing them over and the lid's popping off, that hopefully will hold it. And then I don't know if it is raccoons, they're so smart that they can adapt, I think. Oh, here comes someone else. But try to raccoon proof that. So you can see I got my poncho on. I don't know if you can hear me very well. My mic is under the poncho. Hopefully it's not making a huge amount of noise, but it started raining a good bit, not pouring, but I got wet. Shoved everything in, tore my chair down and shoved everything in my pack and got it ready. Didn't get my little tripod in, but I thought, well, I can just shove that in my pocket for a minute in order to just get everything else in and get the poncho on. But I think I got might have gotten a little moisture in here, but it's still smoking. Have my cup of coffee down there on the ground. But I think I'm gonna find a tree to lean against and finish up this cup of coffee and shove them in my pack and get moving again. But if I see anything worthwhile, I'll take another clip. I kind of need to get a move on to try to get home, get showered up, and get to church. Another gorgeous rock outcropping. I just came from that direction. Still have my pipe out. I'm walking with my pipe in my mouth, both my trekking poles in one hand and my cup of coffee in the other. Coffee's almost gone, but since time is kind of the essence, wonder if that was a shot from the rifle range or some kind of thunder or transformer blowing. But anyway, until it gets terrible, I'm going to be until I finish my coffee, I'm going to be going kind of slow, still trying to move for the most part, but this has turned out to be quite an interesting hike. Well, that was not fun. I went shortly after I took that last clip at the outcropping. Right at the end of it, I thought, well, it's not really raining that much. I'm probably getting wetter from sweat and keeping all the moisture in. Take it off. Took my poncho off and put some stuff in my pack. Finished my coffee, still had my pipe smoking. But I went up. I don't know where the trail went. You know, it disappeared. I went past it, looked at my app, because it just kind of, what I was on kind of petered off. And I thought, well, what's up with this? I'm not seeing any blazes. It looks like this trail kind of ends. So I doubled back, kind of looked around. I still don't know where it went, where the turn was, because it was a switchback. So I was like, well, I'll just bushwhack down, through all these switchbacks. I'm bound to hit a trail sometime. So I finally just did. But looking at the ground versus the map, that way is where I should have come from, but it looks like it's heading downhill. This way is going uphill. See, it's kind of shooting up. So if I hadn't been looking at the app, I'd have gone right back up if I had more time. If I wasn't trying to get home and get to church, I would definitely head back that way and see exactly what happened. I'll have to remember this sometime. Maybe this will be, I didn't enjoy the first part of that hike, going up that hollow, and it was so closed in, and so, you can see the amount of, this is sweat, humidity, and rain on my face, but it was just so humid coming up there. But of course it's starting to rain again. But anyway, sometime I'm gonna go from the trailhead across from where I parked and come up this way and see where it was, and then probably there's a little extra path that went to the top of those rocks. That might be a great spot to stop and have my pipe and coffee. But anyway, I found my way, and I'm gonna try to make some good time getting out of here. Look at this little feller, salamander. Well, guys, I made it back to the road. That's the road down there. Oh, I made a big mistake. I don't know how, but whenever I was looking at the app and said, well, I figured it out. I didn't figure it out. It was backwards. So I did end up going up and figuring out what was wrong. So what happened was the trail went to the top of that outcropping, and then it came around at the bottom. So somewhere the trails kind of met, or I hit a little turn where people have shortcutted it and started going back the way I was supposed to, and I didn't see where that I didn't go up far enough to see where it came down from the top of the rocks. I'd been there, but anyway, basically I did backtrack, see what I did wrong, and screwed up quite a bit. It's 10 after 10. Church is at 10:50, so I effectively missed church for today. I'm gonna have to call my wife as soon as I get the signal and say, hey, head on out to church. I got lost, or I wouldn't call it completely lost, but rain's picking up, so I'm going to go ahead and sign out. Anyway, guys, until next time, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in.